G'day everybody, Ed Dale here. And look, I wanted to make this presentation because it terrifies me that small businesses all around the globe, particularly in these tough economic times, are being charged outrageous sums of money to do some things that will really help their business, and frankly, all they need is a surly teenager. So, let's have a look at what we need, and let's get cracking. Now, of course, the first thing we need is this surly teenager. Seriously, most of the things that you need that will have a real and dramatic impact on your small business can be accomplished by somebody in grade school. I mean, kids in primary school can mostly do this stuff. If they can create and pimp their own MySpace page, they're well and truly capable of helping you out. So flick one of the teenagers $20 and honestly, they can implement most of this stuff for you. They'll think they're ripping you off because it's so easy and they can't believe that good old Uncle Fred or Auntie Jane just flicked me $20 for doing something so basic. And you'll be laughing all the way to the bank when you add some serious profits to your bottom line. I just don't want to see you spending all this money when you don't need to. So let's have a look at 10 things that cost little or no money for you to get going. Now, the first thing is Google Local. Google Local is a fantastic service and has become even more important with the dramatic rise of the iPhone. Here's an example of a listing that comes up when you type in a restaurant in an iPhone. Now, Google Local is used to do this, but of course, when you type in, say, for example, Chinese restaurant in your local area, you'll see that a map comes up with a whole bunch of local listings. It's vital that you're in there, and the good news is it's completely and utterly free. And this will put you ahead of everybody, like all these companies that pay a fortune to get ad placements, multinationals. You will be ahead of them all because you are a local. And we know that, you know, all things being equal, most people would prefer to deal with a local business than one that's a long way away. You can use this to your advantage. And the cool thing, of course, is that you can click on this particular link here at google.com/local/ad, and you can simply put in all your details and you're away. Now, one little piece of advice. You'll see a section which is called tags. Now, this may seem a bit weird. All tags means is what are the words that people would use to describe your business. So, for example, if you were a Chinese restaurant, you would put in restaurant, Chinese, takeaway food if you do it, home delivery if you do it, and all the particular words that you would particularly use in your area so people would recognize you, and just pop those in, because when people search on an iPhone or a BlackBerry or on the web for Chinese restaurant, they'll get you and you will be displayed prominently, and they'll even display your website, they'll show your phone details, they'll show everything. There's also reviews and a whole bunch of things that are available there with Google.com. Google is the new Yellow Pages without the blackmail marketing. So it really is a fantastic thing. Okay, so our next one is Facebook. Now, there's something you need to know about Facebook. Facebook is, as it currently stands, the 5th largest country on the planet. That's right, over 200 million people accessed Facebook in the last 30 days. It is an astonishing figure. And if that's where the customers are and that's where the clients are, you need to be there too. And the cool thing is Facebook have realized this, and they've provided a very special service just for small business owners just like yourself. It's called Facebook Pages, and I'll give you the link in a second, but it is very simple to set up, but it gives people the ability to look for you on Facebook. A lot of people don't use the internet at large. They just use Facebook because it's a safe environment and they only need to interact with their friends. So you can create a Facebook page, and the cool thing is people can become fans of your page. And when somebody becomes a fan of the page, things get really interesting, because you are able to let them know of new things that are happening with your business, and it will come up in their news feed, which is a great way to generate business. And again, this will take your surly teenager about 20 minutes to set up and could deliver you fresh new leads almost immediately. Now, you can find out all about Facebook pages and Facebook advertising here at this link that you can see in front of you. Now, the next thing you need to do is a blog? People describe blogs as being online diaries. For a business, it's a fantastic way of communicating with your customers. So many things are done through blogs now, and the thing that makes blogs work is this thing, and it's a horrible piece of jargon, but I'll say it, but don't worry about it. It's called RSS. All this means is the information flows very easily from your blog to all the different applications that people might want to see your information about. Now, you can see my funny blog here, well, funny, haha, blog here, but it's a great way of keeping all your clients updated. It lets Google know what's going on because Google loves blogs, and so you can appear in the search engines for your particular area. And the great thing about blogs is that they are pretty much free for you to start out. For example, this service Blogger, you can get a nice, neat blog started, up and running inside of 20 minutes. And if you find that the blog is starting to really deliver you traffic, you might decide to go to one with a few more services or to host your own, and you can move that very easily from Blogger to something like a WordPress. Don't even worry about what they're called at the moment. Blogger is a great place to start. What do you blog about? You can blog about anything that's affecting your business. Let them up, like if closing times have changed, whatever. Because when people search for your business to see what your opening hours are, or for example, that Google local listing that we talked about just before, you can tell that if your blog's there, you've got another way to communicate. Now, I'm horrified when I speak for local Rotary groups and so on at the amount of money people are charged for a website, $10,000 plus. This is completely free, and I've got to be honest with you, a heck of a lot more effective than most of those pretty, sites with lots of, slideshows and music and all those sorts of things, which the search engines ignore because they can't actually search anything. Having an actual blog and updating it 3 or 4 times a week is a really, really clever thing to do. And you can just go to Blogger there. That's the URL that you can use. A very simple thing to do for your business. Now, what's this Twitter stuff all about? I've got to be honest with you, I find it really, really hard to explain. It's more something that you should really experience. Twitter is very important. And the reason it's so important is that a bit like a text message or an SMS message, depending on what part of the world you're at, you can effectively send a message out to everybody who chooses to follow your account. Now, this happens to be mine here at ed_Dale, and you can see there that I've got, at the time this was taken, 18,000 people who, right around the globe, who are interested in what I have to say. And so if I need to communicate to them quickly and urgently, Twitter is the perfect vehicle for that. And it means that people can stay up to date. Now, I follow all sorts of interesting people, interesting photographers that I'm into, musicians that I love to find out what's going on. It gives people a sense of being involved in your business, sort of like an over-the-shoulder perspective, if you will. Lots of other forms of marketing are sort of what I call in-your-face marketing. People have a whole set of defenses, quite rightly, when they see an email from you, or they get a direct mail letter from you, or you phone call or telemarket them. There's a whole bunch of, effectively filters that are in the way. But with Twitter, people are volunteering on their own because they're interested in what you have to say. And small businesses that are doing this really well are really, really finding a whole new level of customer communication. Because here's one thing I think we can all agree on. In your business, the business in your area who wins is the business that communicates the most with their clients. This is not a Web 2.0 thing. This is a principle as old as time. The more you're able to communicate with your marketplace, the more likely you are to survive and thrive in this environment. The businesses that are doing well now are the ones that are proactive. And these free tools, everything I've shown you so far is completely and utterly free, enable you to communicate and do exactly that. Be proactive in your marketplace. The next one I love is YouTube. Did you know that actually YouTube, believe it or not, is the second largest search engine on the planet? Yes, you've got Google, of course. Everybody uses Google, right? but 25% of searches on the planet actually go through YouTube. There is another cool thing about YouTube. If you were, for example, a real estate agent and put up your houses that you have for sale, use one of those beautiful and very cheap little tiny video cameras that you can get these days, which you just plug in. They're so easy to do. Anyway, if you put those videos up on YouTube and you tag them all correctly, like we discussed earlier, as you can see here, you can see that videos that I've done have come up when somebody's typed in my business, 30-Day Challenge Plus. You can see here with the 30-Day Challenge Plus listing, if you go down the bottom, you can see the video results, and don't they jump out, and they really stand out. This is something that you can do very easily, and it doesn't take a lot of work or effort on your part to upload some videos that are relevant to your business. For example, think if you're I don't know, if you're in the tyre business, perhaps you could show people how to check their tyres properly, and put a video of that up into YouTube and tag it for your local area. All these sorts of things, and again, cost totally free. Now this next one, Google Pay-Per-Click, does cost you some money, but I really want to talk about it because I've got to say, with local businesses that I know that are using Google Pay-Per-Click, they're telling me it's their best source of leads and traffic that they're using. Let me explain what it is. Okay, you can see here, and this is actually a really interesting one. I've typed in here Jumping Castles Melbourne, which is my local area. Now, if we have a look at this page, you'll see in yellow the top 3 links are highlighted links. And you can see Jumping Castles Melbourne, Jumping Castles Melbourne, Mr. Castles Melbourne. Under that, you can see what I was talking to you back way at the start of this presentation. The local business results. See that? See how important that is for you guys to be there? Look, there's phone numbers, there's details if I was to click on one of those listings, and of course there's a map. You stand out before you even get to the... Look how much stuff you see before you even get to the search listings. This is so important because people, in all likelihood, when they've got a choice, they'd much rather deal with somebody who's local than somebody who's further away. And that's what Google does. So you've got to take advantage of that. And of course, it's absolutely free. And given that Yellow Pages charge you thousands, if not 5 figures, to get a quarter page in their rapidly becoming outdated mode of getting clients, you can get all that for free. But here's the interesting thing. See on the right-hand side here where you can see Jumping Castles, Jumping Castle Hire, Castle for Kids, etc. These are pay-per-click ads, so are the ones in the yellow, which means, unlike the Yellow Pages where you're forced to fork over the thousands of dollars and you're not guaranteed one single phone call, the only time you actually pay Google, and you pay, per click as they say, is when somebody literally clicks on your ad. This is huge because for the first time you get performance-based advertising. So you only pay, now you may pay 20 cents, 30 cents, $1, you can bid, and depending on how much you bid and the quality of your page that you have, and remember if you used a blog like I told you earlier, you'll have a very high quality page, you will be able to judge where you come on that listing. Obviously, researchers told us that the higher up you are in those listings, the more likely you are to get a click. But of course, remember, you only get a click if, indeed, somebody clicks on it, which is very cool. You can also use if you only deal with a local area or region, you can actually just ask Google to only display your ads when somebody from that region or area shows up. It's brilliant. Very easy to do. Lots of good tutorials online. It's a fantastic thing to do. Now, something you may not be aware of is that Facebook also has pay-per-click advertising, but it's a little different in a very exciting way. You can see this is my Facebook page, and you can see on the right-hand side there, you can see there are a number of ads. Huggies Baby Wipes, there's a Facebook ad, and Foxtel ad. Now, Facebook has something which we call demographic pay-per-click. This is, for the right type of business, this is insane. Think about it. If you wanted to reach 18 to 25-year-old girls that are interested in the movie Twilight, you would have to take a guess and maybe advertise in a magazine that gives you that sort of demographic data. Demographic advertising traditionally has very much been, pay and pray. advertising. You hope that it works. Your local newspaper gives you demographic information of the type of people that read the paper and buy it. Now, what Facebook does, which is extraordinary, is of course it has extraordinary levels of detail in terms of the demographic information that it has. And you can say that I only want to advertise to people in your local town who are aged between 30 and 65, who are males, who are married. And indeed, you can even dictate their political leanings. I'm not sure how useful that would be, but you could. You could also say, I only want to deal with people who have Lord of the Rings as their favourite movie. Now, why would somebody possibly want to do that? Well, a good friend of mine has a business that sells swords. And so some of the swords that he features are the ones that are featured in the movie Lord of the Rings. So he uses demographic pay-per-click advertising to be able to target people who like Lord of the Rings, and he cleans up. And of course, the great thing is he only pays when somebody clicks on the ad. And so you can see here I've got small children, so the Huggies baby wipes is very appropriate. And of course I love my Foxtel HD, so I'm smacking the target market for Foxtel. So it gives you, it's very, very cool. And for the right type of business, for example, you know, if you are in the wedding flower business, you could target people who are engaged in your local area. Very, very targeted advertising that we haven't been able to see before. It really is superb. Okay, this next trick is a real ripper. It's called Google Reader. Remember I told you that horrible term RSS feeds? Well, did you know that for your business, you can ask Google to tell you anytime somebody mentions something about your business, or indeed, like if, for example, if you're in the scrapbooking business, for example, every time a newspaper somewhere in the world publishes an article on scrapbooking, Google will send that to you. It's amazing. It's like being super informed, and it takes 15 minutes a day to have anything that's happening in your area. You can see there, if you look closely, I'm interested in photography and obviously internet marketing and guitar and you know, various things. So you can see there that when I wake up in the morning, there are 31 articles on photography, and I can quickly go through, scan through the headlines. You can see there I've got the one highlighted which is market research, and I can quickly see which one I want to continue to read. I can mark them as read and we're done. It takes such a short period of time, and you can be so much better informed about your marketplace. Just do a Google search on Google Reader, and trust me, the effort it takes you to set this up will repay you 1,000 times. Wondering what you need to talk about to your market to help them, let them know about stuff? Here's your answer. The latest tech development in, I don't know, scrapbooking, that gives you an excuse to email or Twitter or do a blog post. It gives you a chance to communicate with your market, and we all know the more times you communicate with a market, the more likely you are to sell something. Very, very cool. And in fact, that Google Alert service, which you can access at this web address, you can see you can even set it up so it sends you an email once a day or whenever you want. Or do like I do and send it into your Google Reader. Now, we're almost at the end here of the 10 things. A mail list is just absolutely vital. Now, the trouble is, any time you try to get a quote for creating a database for your business, you just get, they don't even get out of bed for $10,000 these days. It's, it costs a huge amount of information. Well, you know what? In this day and age, you don't need to spend anything like that. You can use a service like Aweber, for example, which gives you all sorts of, the ability to collect emails, to collect customer data, and then to be able to email all your clients. And it looks after all of the stuff for you. It does it all easily. Your newsletter stuff, it makes sure your mails get delivered, which, let me tell you, is a big challenge in this day and age. It is truly, truly superb. It's a brilliant way of working, and I really heartily recommend it to you. And it costs something like $19 a month or something like that. And there are many, many, many different services that you can use. But Aweber is one that I use, I quite like as well. If you're interested in finding out about more of this stuff, I really do encourage you to just go and have a look at those web addresses. But I do a program called 30-Day Challenge Plus, and you can look that up on Google. Just type in 30-Day Challenge Plus, and it'll take you to all the information. But thanks for listening. Really appreciate you watching this, and go do it. They're all free or near free, and all you need, remember, is that surly teenager. So we'll speak soon. Thanks for listening.